Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Blue Honor Vlog. I'm Kay Williams, author of OpDeck, Operation Deceit, the Trailokia Trilogy, and Blue Honor, a Civil War drama for which my blog is named. Welcome to May. Can you believe that already? The warm weather is coming in. It's beautiful. Can plant my garden soon. All the seedlings have started out in the kitchen, and they're growing well, and I'm pretty excited about that. But today I actually wanted to talk about something I probably haven't mentioned before on the vlog, maybe just in passing, is my script, 8 Days in Ireland. I've finally uploaded that and have started putting that into screenplay competitions and stuff. I wrote that quite some time ago, and it was inspired by a trip that I actually took to Ireland that was 8 days long. This story obviously doesn't follow that. I'm not Kit. I didn't find Jacob and fall in love and leave my best friend behind in New York City. I don't actually live in the city. I live in upstate. But anyway, I kind of came up with the story off of that trip. And it just kind of inspired me, and being able to be over there so you get to see it and really get into it, which is the fun part of kind of doing research. And I was very grateful to be able to afford to go. And I went with my best friend and my mom and dad, and we had a great time. And I have a photo album just dedicated to that trip, and it was inspiring. It's very beautiful. It kind of reminded me of I was reminded of my hometown. I could see echoes of Ireland from the people who had come over and settled in the area. You could tell the rock wall partitions and stuff between land plots and stuff we have. And just the way that things are laid out, the way that people build their homes, etc. So much was echoed. So a lot of that came over with settlers. And even though we developed over hundreds of years apart, it's still very similar, because I think you're so tight, it's your culture, it's your background, etc. And it's like, so that Irish and British, Scottish, Wales, all of that culture and stuff is very much connected, and it's traditions and stuff. So we just kind of repeat things that were taught, and a lot of it was echoed, which I thought was interesting. One thing that I remember is getting off the bus in Adair and smelling the peat, and the air kind of had an old smell. And I don't know if it was because of the old church that was like right there. Like I could smell the old stone, like you were in an old stone basement almost. And it just kind of struck me. I'm like, why does it smell old? It's like, I know this very spot has been settled since the 13th century, but why would it smell like old? And it's like the peat was just in the air. It was like everywhere. So they still do burn peat. And that was really cool. But 8 Days in Ireland is actually the story about a young businesswoman. So she has an MBA, and they're pretty common degrees. I'm not saying that they're easy to achieve, but it's a degree that people pretty commonly go into because there is a future to be found in that with business. There's a lot of jobs, etc. So she's in a lower executive type of position and is in a cubicle in New York City, and she's just not feeling it. And her roommate and stuff, everything's good with them. They're the best of friends. Right now, I can't believe I forgot her name. And I love her name, so I apologize about that. But they are the best of friends. They've been friends for a very long time. So it's good that Kit has her, because at the opening of the film, she loses both her parents. So her dad, I think, has passed, and now her mother. And it's been a while since I've looked at this and rewrote it. I did this back in college, so that was 2014. So I've been really focused on Trailokia, so you have to forgive me about forgetting some things. So her parents have passed away, and she wants to take them. They're from Ireland. They moved here as young people, married, started a new life. They had Kit, and she wants to bring them home. She feels like that's home and that's where they belong, and they have arrangements. So she's trying to get their ashes back over there to put in, and it just, Kit finds a lot of difficulty and stuff, and that is something that is echoed in me, because I find like no matter what I do, there's something that always happens to screw it up, and screw it up royally. And then there's just these little things along the way, like something's following you and just like going, you know, I'm gonna trip your ass, or I'm gonna, you know, just make this 10 times more difficult than it needs to be, and just muck it up. And that happens to Kit. She's very frustrated, and things don't start really working out for her until she meets this young mechanic, because their rental vehicle breaks down. They get a flat, and he comes and helps them out and drives them back to the garage and gets the tire fixed and the other things, because they were driving it, so some damage has been done to it. So he's getting that fixed for them, and get them to the town and stuff, in the hotel and a place to stay. And Kit starts noticing that things are working out a little bit better with this guy kind of assisting, and she does find herself pretty attracted to him. He's very attractive, young mechanic, her age and stuff, and the girl hasn't been dating. She's so busy with her career and studying and graduating and trying to make it, and she just is not clicking, you know. A lot of shallow people, and this guy's very homey, you know, very friendly and accommodating and helpful, you know, and he loves the fact that they're Americans, and he gets to show them his home country. He's excited about that. But Kit's finding that when she lets others help her, things don't quite get so screwed up. That what's getting screwed up is the fact that, you know, she needs to admit that maybe she needs a little bit of help or guidance or support, and she didn't have that because she was alone in New York City with just her roommate. Her roommate has her own life. She's dating Dr. Brown, who's, you know, a resident medical doctor at a good hospital, and her life is all coming together. She is engaged and going to get married, and Kit's going to be, you know, on her own in her own apartment and stuff, and just trying to make things work out. And she's just finding things are getting more difficult to handle because she is kind of like on her own, and she does have such a small group of friends and support around her, and then losing her parents, so that support is gone too. So things are kind of just erupting, you know, and she's really feeling that. And this is not to say that she needs a man in her life. What she needs is support, you know, friends and support and love, and we all do. Whether that comes from a boyfriend or a best friend or family. So it really isn't about that, but she does, they do kind of fall in love with each other within the 8 days. It's like they know, you know, this is it. So, you know, of course things have to go wrong. You know, they have to get over that bump in the road and stuff to make sure that this is something that they really want. And she does end up going back home and having to think about it and almost losing it, because she's like, I can't deal with this. It's too difficult to handle on my own. It's just me, and I can't handle long distance. It's not going to work out. It's difficult because everything would probably be virtual, you know, like Zoom meetings and stuff, and it's like, how intimate can that really be? I don't want to hear it because I know a lot of you figured that out in COVID times. So la 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 la. Let's not talk. But yeah, her roommate's just like, you know, it can work, and your parents were from there, so you could probably go back, and if you married him, you would be able to stay, and, you know, just give it a shot, because this might actually be what you need. And Kit was figuring that out, that she didn't need to be in New York City struggling with this just, you know, dime a dozen position, and that her talents could really be used. Key to that is that Jacob is inheriting a garage, and he's trying to make a go of it with this garage, and he could lose it, and he could really use somebody with business acumen to help him run the place. So Kit's like a perfect fit, really. It's like, and they could be like, you know, the mom and pop garage over there in his town. And it's like, that's not really what she saw for herself, but it's like, as she thinks about it, she feels herself growing into that more. Like, no, this would be more like what I need and stuff. And it's not like she wouldn't see her best friend again. I'm pretty sure they can afford a trip, you know, to go visit now and again. Plus, you know, social media, etc. We would still see each other. You know, in those situations, people still see each other regardless. So that's 8 Days in Ireland. So it's a romantic comedy, so there are some spoofy, funny things. I do need to work on that a little bit. Like I've said in other blog posts, comedy writing is so hard. It's so hard because you don't have an audience sitting in front of you. So when you're writing this stuff down, you can't hear them laughing, and it's like, is this really funny or is it not? And it's like, you know, it's a romantic story, and it still has these funny bits in it and stuff. And that's probably mostly Patrick, Jacob's best friend, that brings in a lot of the comedy. So it was a lot of fun to write, and I thought it was just a cute love story, which is unlike me to write, because I write very dark, insane things, war stories, usually things with a lot of bloody struggle, and this was just kind of a relief in a way to write, you know, a little bit of sunshine, you know, even though there's a struggle there. So it was good, and I've updated it since it was first written. There is a copy that I think is still on my K. Williams Author DeviantArt account, and that would be an earlier copy of it. All character names and stuff are the same. Trajectory of the story is pretty much the same, but I changed some things up according to some criticism and stuff that I have received from professionals in trying to get pacing, etc., fixed on it. That's another tough thing, is to know if your pacing is good or not, and you really do need another set of eyes on that. But I have still struggled with trying to get Kit to Ireland faster in the thing, and I'm not quite sure where to cut and stuff with that. So I like to take time between drafts on that, so that I have a good long time to separate from the material and can feel better about culling things and cutting things out. So those are a couple of the things that I've learned. I didn't have that problem with the others because there was a book, and all the pacing and timing stuff was already done within that. But yeah, that's 8 Days in Ireland. So hopefully it does well out there on the film festival circuit, and I get some laurels. I got my first 2 laurels in 2020, and I was very excited about that. One for Shadow Soul and the other for OpDeck. And I'm still going. I have to do a redraft of Shadow Soul so that it's more in line with book 1 here. So that would be book 1 of a 3-part story, and then I constantly think maybe this would be better as a series on like a television type of series, subscription sort of, you know, venue. But I think about that all the time. Probably be better for all the material that's within it to do it justice. Make sure to hit subscribe. Come back next month. That will be June. We will be in summer. My plants will be in the ground, and hopefully I will be growing some great things. I like to grow pumpkins every year, squashes and stuff for salad, and tomatoes and flowers, and it just gets real pretty out there. And it's a cute little garden. So I'm looking forward to that, as you know from the last time. All right. Thank you. Please hit subscribe. See you next time.